Hey, this is Karen with Over the Artsy Moon, and I help acrylic painters with designs. I help paint party owners with designs. So we're not working on a design per se, but we are going to use Essential Stencils stencils today to finish this door hanger. So I'm still going to teach you some techniques, and I'm going to hopefully inspire you to do a door hanger of your own. We're using an 18-inch MDF. This is like a 1/4 inch. You can see it's not very wide, so you're able to punch holes in it and then go ahead and hang it up on your door. I'm going to use the welcome. I'm also going to be using this again. I've already used this once for these. Okay, so you can see how I lined. Let's see, how did I line it up? Like this? How did I do it? Oh, maybe it was this way. All right, yes, like this. So I placed this one here. So when you're going to do this, if you want this stencil, I did put it in the description so you can get the one that you want. And then I also moved it, and then you see where that leaf is, but it doesn't have to be exactly like this, okay? So then I lined it up there and did that one, and then we're going to do 2 more sunflowers. I'm going to be turning it around, but basically we're going to have some kind of coming off the edge there. And we're going to go ahead and stencil this welcome. So if you are able to hear me okay, give me a yes in the down below so I know that you're able to hear me. We're going to, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going to move this kind of lower so it's not quite in the middle, because when you hang up a door hanger, sometimes you have a little bow, something like that. You may want to have it right, depending on what kind of bow you're going to have. But with this one, you don't even really need a bow. It's more about the artwork for this one. So I'm going to put it about here, and if you want, you can tape it down. So the edge is right there. I'm going to leave a little gap, but it's going to go over those sunflowers. So that's why I did the sunflowers first, and I could have done the whole thing with you, but I thought that might be a little bit tedious for you to watch the whole thing. So stencil brush is really important. You do not want to get these wet when you're using them. You're going to go right into the paint, and you get those bristles really saturated. If you're coming on, say hi, so I know I'm not by myself. Tell me where you're watching from, and if you've ever done stenciling before. So see how I'm offloading, and there's not a lot of paint on the dry brush. So what I like to do is just go over with a very light layer when I'm doing something like lettering. So I'm just going to like sweep around in these little circles for this part, and I'm just going to keep on going. Let me just tell you a few things. I do have a painting membership, and the doors are open right now. If you are looking for some fun designs to do for yourself, for your personal skill development with painting, maybe let's get a little more paint on here. Maybe you are a paint party or a creative business owner. Maybe you have a studio and you always need designs. So I love to create designs, and if that is something that you are looking for, please, you could go ahead and comment design in the comments section. And then I'll give you some information, okay? Because the Artsy Moon Paint Club, where I have all those designs, is only open through tomorrow. So we don't open all the time officially, but I just did want to let you know about that. I'm not going to go over this little leaf. I'm just going to keep that out of it. So I'm just going to carefully go around there. Okay, so you see that right here? We're just going to skip that. If you felt nervous about that while you're doing your stenciling, then you can always tape over that little section. But even if you do go out of the lines and you go off onto another place, if you grab your baby wipe right away, you'll be able to quickly wipe it off, and it's going to be a-okay. So let me show you what that looks like now. So it's very light. I want to get that lined right back up. And now I can go a little bit heavier with the paint. This is just the way I learned how to do it, and it works really well because there's something called bleed in stenciling. Have you heard of that term before? Where it kind of goes under the stencil. So these are those hard plastic, those Mylar stencils. And if you need one of these, you can use my code and it'll save you a little bit. So I have a little more paint this time, and I'm coming around right over here. And I'm just gonna go over all those letters one more time. All right, yes. I love stenciling. I think it's a lot of fun, and you can get some quick, nice results. Does anybody love sunflowers? Let me know if that's one of your flowers that you love, or do you prefer a different kind of flower? What's your favorite flower? So as you come on, let me know what your favorite flower is. Even if you're watching on replay, you can put replay and then the name of your favorite flower. And if you try this, let me know, so I just get an idea if this is something that would be of interest to you or not. All right, so here we go. I'm not going to use this brush anymore because it's got the black on it, so I'm just going to put that in my water and let it soak. All right, now something I like to do right away is to just wipe these off with a baby wipe. That way it keeps your stencils nice and Rhoda likes daisies. The kind of brush I'm using is, you can get them from Essential Stencil, but you can also probably get another brand as well. And I'm sorry, this is going to make a little bit of a bumpy feeling here, but I would recommend this. At least get most of it off. See, it's coming off on that baby wipe, and this way you can just keep your stencils nice and reuse them over and over and over. I probably used this one at least 5-6 times. It is one of my favorites. I kind of love it. Let me show you the packaging so you know. It's this one right here. It does come with that welcome, gather, and farmhouse, and that's what they all kind of look like. And then the other one I'm using for the sunflowers, it also has this wildflower set. So can you see that? Okay, so you can do lots of stuff with these, and it's kind of fun to just play around with them. All right, so let me get myself organized here again. I'm done with this one. That's pretty good. It should be fine. And I'll put that off to the side, and then let's go ahead and we're going to start working on our sunflowers. So I'm going to actually turn this all the way around. Okay, maybe I'll kind of figure out where I want to have that. Okay, these dry really quickly, so don't worry about putting this on top. I'm going to put it right about there probably, and that way it's kind of across. There's 5 of them. It's like an odd number, so it gives a visual appeal. I always like the odd numbers in art, so I'm kind of just carefully bringing this around so I can reach it, okay? Anybody who's coming on, let me know what your favorite flower is. I think I moved it too much by accident, because if I put it there, it's going to cover up the welcome sign. We don't want that, right? Okay, so here we go. And we're going to start with white. White is going to be the basis. This background I did, I put it in the description. I used the Minwax wood finish, and I added a little bit of white acrylic to that to get a little bit of lightness. And then we're going to just start with a new, fresh brush. But remember, you don't want to put it in the water. That will kind of give you that bleed that you're not looking for. So you're going to grab some of the paint, the white paint. And in this case, it's nice to have a thicker paint for doing stenciling. Okay, so you get it into those bristles, and then you can kind of come off onto a clean spot. And then I'm going to just make sure it's lined up where I want. So I'm just doing the sunflowers here. I'm thinking where I want them, how far I can go out, probably about right there. All right, and then for this, I'm going to start in the center, and I have quite a bit of paint on there. So it is going to still, whoops, it came up a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to, as I come over here though, this is more delicate, so I'm just doing this tapping method. Okay, so this is just a way to get the paint on there too, just a different method other than that circular motion that I was doing. Okay, and you can get rid of some in the middle, or you can also pull some this way if there's not too much paint on your brush, and that will give you, oops, I put a whole bunch on my brush. Let me just grab that and offload a little bit. you don't want it to bleed because then it's kind of a mess to try to clean up. So it's probably easier for this one just to do this up and down like so. Great. So how's everybody doing today? Is the weather nice where you are? Are you, everybody should be in summer right now if you're in the northern hemisphere at least, right? I don't know that we have anybody watching from the southern hemisphere, but you never know. It's possible. And then as I come over here to this one, this sunflower, I'm going to grab more of the paint and just come right to the middle. And I'll grab some more of this. Now, I ended up seeing that I got a lot of orange on those sunflowers. Do you guys like the orange, or do you think they should be a little more yellow? Because that's something I could change a little bit. That's something I could change, or should I just keep it that light, or that brighter orange? Because it's kind of fun to see all the different sunflowers. I didn't realize there were so many varieties. It's crazy how many there are. That's the nice thing about gardening. You can have so many different choices when you're doing something like that. Didn't plant any sunflowers this year though. I just mostly have vegetables. There's some flowers though. Some flowers, not sunflowers. Although they're very easy, right? You just throw some seeds in and you're good to go. Remember how I was saying you got to be careful if you don't tape it down? Well, look what happened. See, this is what I do, stuff like this so that you can see me do the quick fix. And that's the only reason I tend to make these little mistakes, right? All right, I'm just going to set this down for a second. I'm not going to clean that off yet, but let me grab my baby wipes. Doing the white layer underneath because it is going to give us more brightness in our image. Okay, so I went over a little bit. So while it's still wet, I can go back in there with the baby wipe. If you're teaching, if you're using stencils at a paint party, for instance, a lot of my members in my Artsy Moon Paint Club are paint party owners. And so that would be a good trick to have, right? Because then you can easily fix it. Oops, I don't want to drop that. Okay, now I kind of forgot where I had it lined up. So that's the narrower one. Okay, there we go. And see right there. So you know what? The only thing with this is, I would say, is just slightly place it off onto the background where you have a little bit of the blue showing. Because when you do this later, you're going to have a little border or a little edge of white, and it's going to look really pretty. So I'm just going to slightly adjust it so I see a little blue. And then let's go ahead to let's put some of the other paint colors on. We're going to have the light yellow. We're going to have the medium yellow. It's sort of like an orange, yellow-orange color. We're going to have a darker orange. And we're going to have a dark green and some dark brown. Okay, so I'm going to keep this white on here, and I'm going to start with the yellow. So same thing. We always take it onto our brush, and this is blending to give me a nice pale yellow. So I'll try something different. The other time I went from the inside out. This time I'm just going to tap on the outside, and we'll see how we like it, okay? So we're going to go to the edge of all of these. I'm going to be careful here in my little spot where I went out last time. We're going to go to the edge of all of these sunflower petals. Thank you. All right, Rose says she likes the orange. And, oh, you have tomatoes already. That's cool. That's nice. I love that. So nice to just get a tomato out of the garden. It tastes so yummy. It tastes like summer, right? Totally tastes like summer. I love it. And it's so delish. Okay. So you can see I'm just coming around here with that light yellow. And then I'm going to go ahead and dip into that medium yellow. So it's got a little orange in there. I haven't switched my brush or anything. We're just going to get some of that onto the brush, and then you can offload a little bit. And then you can go ahead a little farther in, grab some more. Let me put that right here so I can get to it. And just go ahead and add some more. Don't be stingy with your paint. And the white does help it, because the white is going to give us a base, and we're much less likely to go under the stencil when we are adding this color. So I'm going a little heavier now, and you'll see how it looks once we're done. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one too. Have you guys seen a sunflower that's a different color over? Like, it's mostly yellow and orange, right? I think that's about it. If you're just coming on, say hi. Tell me where you're watching from. Let me know if you love sunflowers, or if you have a different flower you would like to see painted. And then let's go into that orange. So I'm going to dip and tap off. And then I'm coming right up to that center part. And it's going to look like a big line. I know there are sunflowers that look like this, right? But I'm going for a more blended look, so I'll show you how I blend it right away. We're going to go all the way around, and then we're going to just take a little more of that yellow, that medium yellow, and then I'm going to tap right in the middle there. So if this seems like it's too much orange for you, you could just get a smaller stencil brush. You could skip the orange, or you could just mix some of that orange with that medium yellow. Let's just take a peek and see what it's looking like. Yeah, it's kind of matching the other ones too. And we're going to give it some highlights later with the, hey Stephanie, daisies. Oh, I love daisies. Oh, they're so pretty. They are so pretty. What was I going for? All right, then we're going to go back to the orange here. So if you wanted something less, you could just mix in. See, I mixed in those two colors. Isn't that dreamy right there? That feels like something from the 70s. I don't know. And then we're going to go right to that edge right there. Come on over all the way around. Grab some more yellow. I ran out of the other one, so I'll just add this light yellow here. And then we'll just tap. I'm going to go up and down, sort of like that. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Yes. Oh, you love daisies too, Rhoda? That's awesome. All right. And then if it's seeming like it's too much yellow, you can always, too much orange. Maybe by the time we're finished, it'll be okay. All right. So you could wash your brush, but I'm just going to offload some of this onto my rag here, or your paper towel, whatever you have handy. And then we're going to come back into that brown, or come into the brown here. So I'm just doing the same thing. And if you are wanting to try some stenciling, I do have a code for you. It's on the screen so that you'll get a little discount. It just gives me a little coffee money, and keeps me happy. I love my coffee. All right, so we're going to do this part real quick, and then we're going to do the other one. That first layer is really important for offloading your brush, but then by the time you get to the second layer, like above that white, it is a lot more forgiving, and it doesn't tend to go under the stencil. So it took me a little bit of practice to get used to that. I was doing a whole bunch of porch leaners. I was selling them. And then I was so frustrated because I kept on going. My paint would go underneath. So I gave you guys some good tips. I'm going to put this in the water to soak. Okay, that's with my other brush. And we're going to go ahead and do some extra details here. So I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, I won't wash this off right now, but I will put a couple baby wipes over the paint, so then when I go to wash it off, it's going to be easier. So I'll just kind of press this down and save myself a little time later. Okay, so I can wipe it off a little bit. And the reason, not everybody does this, but I just feel like it helps to make it easier later. You can also put I'll put the paper towel underneath, and then I'll have my rags still. All right. There we go. Okay, let's get back here. All right, paint. Ta-da. Now, let's flip this around. All right, I didn't do any leaves over here, but I think we're okay. What do you guys think? Do we need the leaves on the top part? I think we're okay because we have a lot of leaves down here. If you're coming on, let me know if you like sunflowers. Let me know if you have a different flower that you like better. And we're going to do a little bit of work with our, you know what, we'll do the little bit with the paintbrush or the toothbrush here. So you're going to dip a toothbrush. I know, this is a little crazy, right? Crazy sauce. And then you dip into your white. And this is a very thick paint, so I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll try it out. Get it a little watery, but not too watery. You can do a little test. And then if you like, whoops, that is a little watery, but I think it's okay. Just going to give us a little bit of fun. If I have to, all I'm doing is like pulling my thumb toward me. Okay, so whoops, that was too much. So the reason it did that is because it was too watery. So easy peasy to fix. Grab your baby wipe. Before it dries, you're just going to blot it. And I kind of like, oops, nope, I don't like that. That's okay, right? I'm allowed to change my mind. So that will dry and it'll give it like a little whimsy. Anybody else like whimsical stuff? Yes. Oh, thanks so much, Stephanie. We're not done yet though. Okay. We're going to do some highlights and some shadows. Before I do that though, I'm going to take care of a few little details. Let me grab some fresh black and a spot over here. Oh, you know what? I did want to demonstrate how to do a leaf for you guys so that if you were doing these colors, you would know how to do it. So let's just pretend that this was where we had a leaf. Okay, so I'll put one up here. Can you guys see up there? Okay. So we'll just get that painted in. And you can do this with your stenciling, okay? You would just be tapping on this dark green. And then just like we did our blending with the orange and the yellow there, you would go, we're going to make a little bit of a light green, like a lime. So I just added a little yellow to that dark green. And then you can just tap it on, usually toward the top, okay? So I'm just going to blend that down into that green. Easy peasy. You can just do that while it's still wet, and then you get a nice little effect. And if I want to go back later and add a little bit more of either the dark green or the light green, it's easy enough to do. Okay, so let me rinse that off. And I know I didn't do the whole thing with you, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how you can achieve this look yourself. Did I pour fresh black? I don't know. It's important when you do like lining and shadows that are just like a line to be able to have a fluid paint. So that's kind of like the deco art for the fluidity. I like the folk art for being thick if I'm doing something like stenciling. So these bottles each cost, you know, $2 or something. So it's worth it to have that option. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Rhoda. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to just pull in. This is an option. You don't have to do something like this, but I'll show you what you can do with these little bridges. Okay, we're going to make a little bridge. When you do stencils, there's a little space, but you can just take a liner brush like this and just fill in where it makes sense. And then it just gives it a little nicer of a finish, but you don't have to do this. Do you think it's worth it, or do you think nobody would notice? So that's what that looks like now. So there's the E with and the E without. They're probably pretty similar, but I'm kind of all about the details. I really try to, especially when I'm making things through my membership, I really try to give them quality work. I test out the paintings quite a few times. Can you see that the bear right up here? That's a new one I just painted for the Artsy Moon Paint Club, and I went, you know, probably did like 3 times before I did the recording so that I knew it was going to be easy to do, and it's actually a really easy painting. It's really kind of fun. Oops, timber. All right. And so, you know, I'm all about the quality, and hopefully you guys can see that in my work. All right, so I'm just adding these bridges, filling in the bridges. All right. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, ladies. Okay, so I have that, and then I'll let that dry. While that's drying, we're going to add a little bit of, let's do the black highlights or the black shadows. So I just got a basic small liner brush. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. I want it to be pretty loose, but not super duper loose. Okay, so we're going to just make sure we can get a nice line. That one's a little bit of a thicker brush. So let me grab a thinner one. Okay, I'm going to take this one here. I think this will be good. Get it wet and then get it in that paint and make sure that you can get a nice little line. So pull and twist your brush. And oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. Yes, the details are so important, right? So we're going to go on the bottom of some of these petals or these leaves. Oh my gosh, they're petals. Sorry. I got a little nerve racked. Okay, and we can just do a little curve line. Okay, you're just kind of following the bottom of each petal. This is totally up to you. If you thought it looked great before, of course you wouldn't have to do something like that, but you can do something like this if you want just an extra detail. And once I'm done, you can kind of look back before I did this. If you like this style, it's just a nice little thing to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That one was a little wonky, but you know what? Everything in nature is a little bit crazier, right? It's never perfect. And then I'm going to just do a little bit on the bottoms of some of these seeds in the middle of the sunflower. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of a touch here, kind of at the bottom third. It just gives it a little oomph. And then I'll do the same thing. So I'm going to pull and twist my brush, and I'm just going to come along here to all these petals. Keep on reloading if it's starting to get dry on the board. Have you guys painted on wood before, or is that something that you haven't really done a lot? Have you used this MDF or like an actual wood board? I'm just curious if that's something you use, or do you usually mostly canvas? Let me know what you use. Okay, here's a little leaf. I can put a little curve there. A little bit here. That one's underneath the welcome, so we'll just add a little bit there. And then I'll get this side. I'm going to add a little more water there. Pull and twist my brush. Okay, yeah, you'd love to try, Stephanie. That's really awesome. I love it. It's definitely worth trying something new if it appeals to you. All right, so I'm not having to go like exactly in any spot. I'm just picking a little section to do. And these lines are a little broken. I don't have to have a solid line. As I get around the letters there, I'm just going to leave it. Okay, on the stem. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get these guys here. A little more water. Thanks so much for coming on, you guys. If you are coming on new, let me know what your favorite flower is and if you've ever done any stenciling. I did put the supply list in the description there, so hopefully that will help you if you're interested. And then we're going to get this here. And then we have only a couple more things to do here. When I did the base here, I used it's called Minwax. What is it called? Minwax wood finish, and it is easy to use, and it does give it a little bit more protection than just paint. Rhoda says, yes, I have made a porch cleaner with a stencil. Oh, very good. I'm so happy to help, Stephanie. You know, it's like in my nature. I was a elementary school teacher, librarian for many years, and then I switched to teaching art. And I just love to help people. And I know that when you can make things beautiful at where you live and your situation, it's always makes it a little bit of a better thing for our lives, right? It's just why not, right? I feel like we're surrounded by so many beautiful things in nature, and I just love it. So that's why a lot of my paintings end up being like nature related. I'm just drawn to it, and I love that. So I'm not necessarily going right on top of those seeds from before, but you could. You could really take your time. But if you just want to add a little bit of the black on the bottom, you can do that. And then we're going to go ahead with the white. So I'm going to use, this one is my secret sauce, okay? I love this stuff, golden titanium white here. It's golden acrylic paint. It is a little more pricey, but I've had this bottle for, I don't know, a couple of years probably. I only use a tiny little bit. You see that little bit there? Super duper beautiful, liquidy, satiny paint. I love it. Okay, can you tell I love my paint? Okay, and then all I have to do is just keep on reloading, pull and twist, and you're gonna find it so easy to just give these little highlights. Okay, so same thing. It just like glides on your, it's not canvas, it glides on the artwork, the wood, right? So you can make things so beautiful at your house, and I'd love to see pictures. If you guys do any stenciling, let me know. Okay, so I'm adding, that was a little bit too much right there. Let me just grab a little bit off. That's okay. Can always dip in later and put a little more of that chocolate in. That, okay, so I can just go ahead and put a little bit more here. I might as well do all the centers and then I won't forget. Just kind of randomly adding some highlights, some brightness so it'll catch your eye. I think a little bit more here. I'll make some of these a little elongated. And then let's get these guys. And we could do the lettering, like I do like something where I just add, let me show you one where you're coming down, you're gonna press like that. Do you think I should do the rest or should I paint that black? What do you guys think? Would that be something you'd like to see me do, or do you think just leave it? Let me know what your opinion is. So either just leave it or add the white. So don't get nervous about this. Once you start practicing with doing these kind of details, it really brightens up your work, especially at the end. Like the last 10 minutes of a painting is where like everything pops, right? Because you've added all these little pops of white. You've given it depth by adding the black to it. So I think you like the highlight, Stephanie? Okay, got it. Your wish is my command. All right. And I think it does lighten up that orange, but you know, it's just a different look from the one I did before. I did more yellow, but I like them both. It just gives it a little more of a warm feeling with this one. So, all good. All right, any more of these highlights? Did I do these? No, I don't think I did that up there. Okay, so let me get these ones over here. Just a little pop of white. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me know, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Oops, I went. You hear me say, whoops? It's always fixable, right? Acrylic is super duper easy. So easy. Oops, I went into the green. Hang on. Clean that off. a little highlight on this leaf, one here, and then let me get this guy over here. The thing is just to try it and be a little bold, because if you don't practice it, you just never get better at it. So it's just nicer to try it out and really start to see what you love painting. I know everybody has different things that they like. So some people really love nature. Some people love abstract. It's good to try things out and then see what you like. Okay, and let's see, am I done with that part? Okay, if you see any parts I need to add, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and, so when you're doing this kind of highlight, you're going to do it on the downstroke. So if I'm going up, I'm not going to put the white, but I'm going to come down on this W, push, and let go. Okay, then you get more paint. And this comes up, and then it comes down there. And then it comes up, and then we're going to go on the downstroke with the E. Push, like so. Okay, and then you can come back up and keep on going even if you run out of paint. But look how nicely that glides. I say it a lot. Yep, I know, right? It makes it much more fun to say oops when you make a little mess, and that's just life, okay? Anybody good with lettering? That's something I want to work on with my lettering. Okay, and then this one goes up and down. Down, down. Here's the big one. Whoop. Does it bother you that the letters are over the sunflower? I think it makes it part of it. I think that's it. Okay. So then you are pretty much done with this. This is it. And make sure you wash those brushes out right away. And if you watch the replay, go ahead and type replay for me and let me know if you're going to try it out. Remember, if you are interested in getting into the Artsy Moon Paint Club, it's open through tomorrow. And if you haven't painted your Fun in the Sun painting, I know I did that last week, that is only going to be available for like 2 or 3 more days. But if you wanted to be in the contest, that's going to be by tomorrow to finish that and show me a picture of your artwork. So I know Stephanie did a beautiful painting. So thank you so much, Stephanie. And thanks everybody else who submitted one. I appreciate that. Stephanie's just on, so I saw her comments and I appreciate that. Have a great day. I would probably use a crocodile to make holes and then hang it up. I do have a video posted. If you look in on my Facebook page under what's it under videos, okay, then you can go down and I show you how to make the holes with the crocodile and how to add a ribbon. I'm not like a huge ribbon person or a bow making person, but you know, I make it work. Honestly, I would rather keep this one simple with just a simple ribbon and let the art do the speaking, right? Do the talking. All right, Stephanie says, thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you. You know what? If you just keep on working at it, thank you, Rhoda, for saying thank you so much. The more you practice, the better you get. And I can't wait to see what you guys create. So have a wonderful day, and thanks for popping on and visiting with me for a few minutes.